Kena Bridge of Spirits released last year and was widely anticipated by a fair few people. I'll be honest to say it wasn't something on the top of my list, but the more I saw about the game, the more I became intrigued. Anybody who knows anything about me knows that I love a little game called Spiritfarer, a game where you help lost spirits stuck in purgatory pass through to the afterlife. Kena has a similar core theme, but it's an entirely different game. Kena is a much more ambitious game than Spiritfarer, in that a game with a Pixar-X art style, bright colours and friendly aesthetic could be this damn difficult. So, the game starts off perfectly fine. You get introduced to the combat and everything. You have a regular attack and a special attack. You have a dodge. You have your root abilities. Then you fight the tutorial boss and you're like, this is nice and simple. I'm digging this. The first, I would say, 2 or 3 hours maybe follow a similar pattern. You progress through the game, finding out more about the world, why it's been damaged in this way. You explore through the forest, you're fighting normal enemies where there isn't really anything special about them. You pick up on their attack patterns pretty quick. You proceed through the areas, you develop your abilities, you gain new equipment such as the bow. Then you fight a bunch of enemies that require the bow. They ensure that you learn how to use it. A lot of games just bombard you with abilities and equipment that you'll never use, but Kena isn't one of those games. Not long after earning the bow, the next few battle arenas will have plenty of airborne enemies. The only way to take them out? The bow. You fight a mini-boss or two with weak points that are easily struck while using the bow. It's nice. It's simple. You think you're in for an easy-ish ride. But then, there's the Corrupted Tarot boss fight. If I remember correctly, this was the first point of the game where I died. No, it's not. The mage boss fight was the first time where I died. This was the first time where I died twice. This is the make or break moment where you're like, oh damn, it's that kind of game. Most games that manage difficulty properly have a moment such as this one. In Sekiro, for example, it's the Genichiro boss fight. That's the moment that forces you to master the parrying mechanic. You won't beat Sekiro without it. The Corrupted Tarot boss fight does a similar thing. He has very distinct patterns that occur in a formulaic manner. You have to switch between the bow, to dodging, to knowing when to charge your special attacks, when is it safe to go on the offensive, how many hits can you get in before you need to retreat. Up until this point, there aren't many moments in the game that have made you do this, and definitely none to the same extent. I very quickly want to distance this game from the Dark Souls series. I know I just compared it to Sekiro, but that was just about the make or break moment, nothing more. Many people think that a third-person action game with a dodge mechanic and punishing difficulty has to be a Dark Souls clone, but this isn't. There's no bonfire system, there's no souls system, it's nothing like Dark Souls. Anywho, the Corrupted Tarot fight is the moment where this game reveals its cards to you. This isn't going to be a walk in the park. Accessible game that everyone can enjoy. This game is hard. In a good way. It's not crushingly difficult, but it's deceptively difficult, and it's good. The enemies complement the combat, which is absolutely crucial when striving to create a game with difficulty, whilst also making it feel fair. I'm recently playing a game called Scarlet Nexus, which isn't particularly crushing or anything, but whilst the game has incredibly fun combat, the enemies do not complement it at all. In Kena, the enemies do. They don't attack you one by one. The dodge window fits the wind-up time for their attacks. Their attacks are easily telegraphed. Having poorly telegraphed attacks can break a game with as little margin for error as this one. Enemies hit hard. You can die after getting hit 4 or 5 times, and you don't carry healing items. Certain battle arenas have set health plants that can be activated by charging up your root powers, so the game rewards consistency. If you can consistently calculate when it's safe to attack, when a dodge is needed, when you can seek a bow shot, when and how to utilise your root powers, then you'll be rewarded. Combat is rhythmic, and it means that it becomes engaging and encourages you to improve. The best compliment I can give this game is that it gradually ups the difficulty, so you're never going up against something you're not equipped to deal with. My understanding is that this is Ember Labs' first game, and to have made the difficulty curve this consistent is incredibly impressive. Going back to Scarlet Nexus, which is getting some unnecessary stray bullets in this video, I do apologise. The game is simple enough, then all of a sudden you get a humongous difficulty spike out of nowhere, where you're fighting a boss, but also two powerful mini-bosses at the same time, and all their abilities counter all of your abilities. So you need to strategize the order of which you're going to take them out. It's just a completely different level to anything else you've fought, and then after the fight, it goes back to the difficulty level of before. Harsh difficulty spikes isn't good design. Gradual difficulty is. The game gets harder as you get better, so it's more than just your attack increasing or your HP increasing. You're getting better at spotting when an attack is coming. You're never overwhelmed by too many enemies. The enemy types just get stronger to counter your increased player skill. Few games manage to balance this as well as Ember Labs have with Kena, and for their first game, this level of quality should be borderline impossible. I also can't think of a poor boss in this game at all. They're all exceptional, including one of my favourite boss fights of the last few years, the warrior fight from near the end of the game. This battle is exceptional, truly wonderful stuff. This video is getting a little bit long now, I think, but the way they balance difficulty in this game really impressed me. I do think this game has a few problems. The game does look a bit samey. There are a few areas that are a bit different, but a lot of the game is just grassy forests or caves. The story is a bit threadbare and doesn't lean into the Lost Spirit thing as nearly as much as it should have done. The platforming doesn't quite feel as fluid as it should, but honestly, those are the only things that weren't great, and I definitely feel like Ember Labs have set an unbelievable foundation for a potential sequel or whatever their next project is. With Kena Bridge of Spirits, they've displayed a fundamental understanding of difficulty balancing on their first attempt, and that is why Kena Bridge of Spirits shows us how to balance difficulty. Thank you for making it to the end of the video. I hope that you did enjoy it. If you did, then please make sure to leave a like, as it would be greatly appreciated by me. And if you want to see more fantastic gaming videos just like this one, then make sure to subscribe, because I upload every single Friday. Have a nice day, and goodbye.